Well, a few things, because sports is so popular in the United States and entertainment as well, there has become a public fallacy that takes place on social media and with a lot of multimedia members that cover sports and entertainment and seem to believe that there are only a few success stories. They would try to distill the accomplishments of so many people and make you think in sports that Bill Russell, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and LeBron James are the only champions. The same thing with entertainment, like Denzel or Will Smith are the only successful entrepreneurs that are doing what they do. And that's truly a fallacy. Anytime you get a chance to do what you love and get paid to do it for a really long time, that is a championship, because so many people hope to get a chance to do what you're doing and they dream about doing it every day. And so, what I've learned about success and championships and finding ways to achieve your goal is, first and foremost, is everybody has to understand the goal, believe in the goal, and be willing to sacrifice for the goal. And that there's no I in team. That's a true that term is true. That level of sacrifice that goes with it means if I make a mistake, I'm willing to look at everybody and say my fault on a successful team. But when everybody isn't invested and somebody makes a mistake, usually that person makes excuses or points fingers. That's the difference between successful situations and failures. The attributes that I took from being an athlete into my multimedia career, they pretty much paralleled one another in a lot of ways. Hard work, sacrifices, being well read about your opponent is the same thing as being well read about the sports that you're going to cover. For me, being a former basketball player, I knew that people anticipated that basketball would be the thing that I was most knowledgeable about. But what I quickly taught the public is it didn't matter what the discussion was. I was well read, was going to work really hard and be ready to talk about any sport, politics, entertainment, current events, past history. And so when you continue to stay current, pay attention to the news cycle 24/7, 365, to me, that always gave me an advantage to the people that either I was competing against or the people that I was having discussions with. Well, the one thing about trying to give back to your community is that I knew once I was in a position to be able to, it was just a matter of trying to figure how I can influence multi people with something that's going to substantially put them in position to take care of themselves or the ones that they love. And being an athlete, while I clearly took pride in being a McDonald's All-American and a member of the Fab Five and playing in the NBA for a long time, I also took pride in my academics. In high school, I was a member of the honor roll. At the University of Michigan, I made the dean's list. I left after my junior year to enter the NBA draft, but I did go back and I did complete my degree. So I'm one of the people that is a professional that actually works in a profession that he got his degree in college. And that's communications, mass, radio, TV, and film. And as an NBA player, there are always certain people that you see that have a philanthropical aspect to what they're trying to do beyond playing basketball. And as a rookie, Dikembe Mutombo, my teammate, I remember him starting a hospital in his hometown of Africa. And I was really fascinated by how committed he was in trying to give back. So I donated an operating room. David Robinson was doing the same thing as it related to education with this Carver Academy in the San Antonio area. And while each person is doing what they can to try to influence, I knew my community needed something different. We needed a public school, an open enroll one, we needed an open enrollment, tuition free public charter high school that was not only focused on graduating young people from high school, but also to graduate them from college. So in my mind, I wanted to create a public school that had all of the support that you see private schools get, because unfortunately, the dynamics of education in the United States of America is solely based on one zip code, and that's actually sad. Sports meant everything to me. My biological father, Jimmy Walker, was the number one pick of the Detroit Pistons in the 1967 NBA draft. Though I never met him, I had basketball in my blood. So I always felt like I was going to be in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball. I actually felt like I was going to be the first person to do each of them at the same time. That's why you got to dream big. And so for me, sports did everything. It took me out of the community, it exposed me not only to the game I love, but to people that didn't necessarily look like me, didn't come from backgrounds like me. And playing basketball, as I saw it was taking up my time, my energy, along with my athletics. I also saw what my neighbors and people in my community were doing that weren't involved in sports, selling drugs, getting caught up in violence, going to jail, getting killed, and things like that. So I knew that that's not a path that I wanted for my future. So all of the coaches that I had, the sport of basketball, and just wanting to be an athlete was something that I always took pride in. And so in high school, well, I grew up in an era where regardless of what season it is, we played that sport. So I played baseball during baseball season, football during football season, basketball, obviously. And in high school, I ran cross country 4 years as well. So athletes, coaches, and the support staff were always a part of my upbringing and helped me become who I am. Mission leaders play an amazing role in the lives of young people because a lot of times you get a chance to expose them to things that they wouldn't normally be exposed to based on the dynamics of the communities and or households that they grew up in. So I spent hours upon hours playing at the Police Athletic League, 1300 Bobby in downtown Detroit, and boys and girls clubs all around the city, all around the country. I remember playing youth games, 13 under, 14 under, that allowed me to travel. Playing AAU was really the first time that I not only got a chance to get on an airplane, but a lot of times I got a chance to play with teammates and against people that didn't necessarily look like me. And so that sports introduction and that support group that young people could get exposed to at such a very young age can be can be a real game changer for their future and putting them in position to chase their goals. My definition of being a leader and a winner, I always realized that it was the score of the game and the game of life. The one thing about playing sports, it teaches you so many valuable life skills. That's why I encourage young people to always play. It teaches you how to deal with success, how to deal with failure. How will you respond if you do well, but the team loses? What about if the team wins and you play horrible? There's so many life circumstances. It teaches you about your family. It teaches you about your friends. It teaches you how to deal with the media. And so all of those life skills, as I started to mature and play professional sports and be an entrepreneur and the founder of a foundation, a parent, the founder of a Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, just that work ethic, that discipline that comes with being an athlete and trying to play at the elite level is the exact same sacrifice that you're going to need in whatever endeavor you choose. If you're going to build a championship team, it literally starts with the foundation. And so for the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, we were founded in 2011, but the groundwork probably started 3 or 4 years prior to that. It started with location scouting, putting ourselves in position to get chartered and authorized by Central Michigan University. I was charged with creating a founding team. I was charged with creating a board of at least 9 members and also charged with building a culture that parents, students, as well as staff members will be willing to take on my vision to do something that really isn't happening in the United States of America. That's an open enrollment, tuition free, public charter high school. We do not test ninth graders in, we do not test ninth graders out after they complete that grade. We also serve special needs students, homeless students. And when you graduate as a 12th grader, it's not just throw your hat in the air and congratulations. We still provide support for our scholars while they're in college, secondary education, community college, trade school as well. So to create a unique school operation as someone that wasn't considered a lifetime educator, it just showed that the, the knowledge that I was gaining and how I wanted to influence my community in a substantial way, it really started from the Jalen Rose Charitable Fund, where in the early 2000s, I was influencing 5 young people via scholarships in public schools. And really, JRLA in 2011 was just a graduation of that mission. My message to anyone running a youth organization is you have to practice patience time and time and time again. Always remember when somebody drops off their son or their daughter off to you, they feel like that's going to change their life for the better. And sometimes they're going to be irrational about the results. They're going to be at the game wanting their son or daughter to play the most minutes. They're going to wonder why their coach isn't giving them the playing time that they feel like they deserve. Is going to be so many turbulent days in dealing with other people's kids. However, your gratification is going to come when they leave. When they leave, they're going to appreciate the time, the energy, the words, the sacrifices that you put into their ears and to their hearts as they go on to become some as they go on to become success stories in their own right.